Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this week's new episode of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And folks, well, listen, it's almost the end of the year. We're all going crazy with the holidays, but you know what never stops? Gaming news. And that's right, folks. We have actually breaking news. And of course, it just so happens to be Blade. Folks, we have actual artwork stills that were put out there by Arkane Lyon, and quite frankly, they look dope. We're going to get into all of them. I have them on the screen. This is one of them. I'm going to see if I can blow up the screen even larger so you guys and gals can check it out. We're going to go through all three of them. We are waiting for Risk It for the Biscuit. He'll be joining us as well. But let me welcome in my co-host of this show, and you know him as C Money. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Oh man, boom. Feeling great. Happy to be here. Very excited that we got some breaking news. I'm just staring at it for the first time, and it's just already I'm so pumped with the idea of what they got going on. This is gonna be sick.
Dude, this is like I said, I think that's the biggest I can get it onto the screen. Pause. So let me let me just get back into here. But listen, oh, there he is. Risky for the Biscuit. What's going on, brother? He's got to get his headphones on. How you feeling, brother?
There he is. He's getting really ready to go.
There he is. Well, listen, you know, when you got an itchy back, you got to take care of business.
Yeah, you got to handle it, man. You got to handle it.
Listen, the elusive gamer known as Jamie Moran, who runs an outstanding Xbox-centric podcast and show. Hey, Jamie, welcome, brother. How are you feeling, man?
Hey man, happy to be here. It's a good time because normally this time of year gaming news is kind of slow, but it's been wild the past week, so can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, listen, it's great to have you here. Super appreciate that. Listen, folks, again, breaking news to open up the show, and of course, we were already going to talk about Blade. We were already the notes have been written to talk about the partnership between Marvel and Disney and LucasArts, and how this is going to be a much different Xbox than what you're used to. And when you consider how heavy they're hitting on all cylinders right now, I mean, their first party is god tier level games that are going to be coming out in the next year, the year after that, the following year. They are going to have a stranglehold on first party. And I'm here to tell you that I do not think Sony is going to be able to keep up with the onslaught of Xbox game studios. And on top of that, folks, they're hitting on streaming services with Xbox Game Pass. They're in mobile, shoulder to shoulder with Apple and Google. And what does that mean to you? Well, that should mean to you that the more money they make, the better chance that you're going to get a Crystal Dynamics and an Eidos Montreal and an IO Interactive and a certain Affinity and a Sobo and potentially others joining the ranks of Xbox Game Studios.
A lot to
be excited about. Yeah, I want them all. I'm a greedy gamer. I want it all. Give me all. But let's welcome in one of the best beards in the business. Risk It for the Biscuit. What's up, dude?
Risk It.
How you feeling, man?
Good. Sorry, man. How are you doing? How are you doing, brother?
Good. Some stuff in the background I just sort out. Hopefully my audio is all good because I got a whole new setup. So hopefully I'm not echoing or anything like that.
No, you sound good. You sound good. Yeah, you sound good. You sound good. Well, we're happy to have you, brother. I saw the setup. You put it up on the social. That looks kind of dope.
Yeah. I've been messing around with it. It's a whole new thing. So hopefully it all works out. It all sounds good and it's all great. But awesome to be on the show, man. Sorry I was late. Had some stuff going on, and then I had a little bit of Baldur's Gate going on as well. So I got a little bit stuck into that and lost track of time.
Listen, such is life. And you know what? It's funny because I actually sent myself something. Let me just get into my own personal DM here. And you said something about Baldur's Gate, folks. this is not a topic. This is kind of like a little bit of a tidbit, if you will, that I kind of want to open up with. And I gotta call out the PlayStation frauds, the fraudery that goes out, that's been going on regarding particularly Baldur's Gate 3, because if I recall very correctly, it was held up high as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, which we knew it wasn't, right? But they were championing this game and saying, yes, this is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. We win. But you know who didn't win? Larian Studios didn't win because, quite frankly, no one on PlayStation bought this game. And I mean there were sales. Let's not be ridiculous. There were sales, but this game almost literally swept the Game Awards. It is considered by many a game of the generation. It has me busting out of my skin with FOMO. I want to play this game, but I don't know if I want to drop the $70 because it's not my kind of game. But there's every time I see someone playing it, every time I see an up close personal with the screen, I am blown away by the things that you can do. So I think I'm gonna crack. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna buy the game. And if I, listen, it's support the devs. That's the kind of guy I am anyway. I say all of that to say, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Darius Fears on Twitter, the real DFEA, he has pointed out, folks, some really interesting information. So fraudery versus actual gamers, Xbox gamers who actually play games, right? Well, according to Darius and his tweet, Baldur's Gate 3 is in the top 5 of top played Xbox games on the platform, currently sitting at number 3 and number 4.
Nice.
And I mean, listen, I haven't played it yet. I've seen enough of it that I want to play it. And even if I don't like it, you know what? I'll donate my $70 to Larian because, God damn it, they freaking deserve it. The work that they have done. And shout out to that entire team. Like I said, I'm not a CRPG guy, but every time I see that game, I am mesmerized and I want to buy it. So,
dude, I'm not a CRPG guy either, and I fell for it until my situation happened in the game. So as long as you avoid clicking the wrong options as to speaking, and you don't go down the lane you weren't intending to go down, you know what I'm saying? Outside of that, it was good, man.
nice.
I put like 17 hours into it. It was good.
Wow, that's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna break down. But listen, folks, we got to get into what you see on your screen. First of all, look, it has been confirmed by numerous sources, by numerous places. Xbox logos where they need to be. It is what it is. PlayStation is not getting Blade. That's a fact. The same way they're not getting Indiana Jones. The same way they may not get. And again, this is speculation, right? We've heard some rumors. I have no. I don't know if this is true or not, but I read the tea leaves like everyone else. Supposedly, there is a Mandalorian MMO in development. Is it true? Is it not true? I don't know. But I tell you what, if it is true, and it is announced next year at, let's say, E3, or, well, pardon me, the gaming event in the summer, whatever you want to call it, because unfortunately E3 is DOA. If that is announced, that's another game. That's another game, folks, that PlayStation will not be getting. As a matter of fact, we're going to be talking about exclusively today on this Disney LucasArts Marvel partnership with Xbox. And I'm here to tell you, folks, outside of the ridiculous first-party games currently in development, most of what we know and a whole lot what we don't, they bring in these massive licensed IPs, which I've been clamoring for them, and I've been banging the drum for years for Xbox to do. They are going to eventually choke out Sony, because Sony does not have the money, and Sony does not have the tenacity with their studios because of the mess that Jim Ryan made with these gas games. And it's going to be years before they get back on track. And Microsoft and Xbox are doing it right now. So let's take a look at the first screen. Obviously, it's Blade standing on top of a building, which means there's going to be some rooftop traversal. I think it's safe to say. Though it's the next picture, gentlemen, that has me very excited. And it's this one right here. I don't know if you can see him in the shadow, but that to me, I mean, let me just see if I can blow it up. You see, here he is right here. He's looking over at a club that's probably packed with vamps, right? What that says to me, folks, is that there is going to be some stealth elements to this game. And that is dope. So let's take a look at the next picture. Where is that next picture? Okay, no, I'm sorry. You just lower that. Let me bring this. Okay, this is the third picture. Now, this is him fighting what looks to be bats, right? He's got the sword out. He's obviously in the subway there. It looks to be like one of the L cars with vamps in it. It's got the graffiti on it. It's got what looks like bats. You know, he's you see the subway sign is on the floor. Again, folks, it says clearly here, concept art, Arkane Lyon, 2023 Marvel. This is legit. Now, I do want to, I want to bring in C Money on this. C Money, listen, I'm super excited for this. First of all, we have confirmation that A, it's an exclusive, right? B, it's Blade. Now, Blade, if you're a fan, and I've talked about this, I think I might have mentioned this all week so far. Blade, when I think of him, I don't think him solely as the individual that he usually is. He is a part of the Midnight Suns. He's also a part of the Avengers as well. So I think it's safe to say that we're going to get some sort of cameo one way or another, whether that be Daredevil, whether that be Moon Knight, Ghost Rider isn't in one particular area. You might have the Punisher make his way over to France, where this is going to take place because Blade called him, potentially opening up C-Money, other heroes. Maybe this is a trilogy. Maybe we're going to see other studios like, I don't know, the Coalition do a Punisher game, and they're all going to somehow be in the same universe. And eventually one massive team up. Listen, I'm getting goosebumps, folks. The potential for this relationship between Xbox and Marvel starts right here with Blade. What are your thoughts on the artwork, Brand?
I mean, I gotta tell you, I saw it immediately. It brought a lot of vibes that I'm excited for. Like immediately, I don't know the I can forget the name. It was another game that took place in Paris, and it was all black and white. And then as you unlocked places, it would turn colorful again. Like the color
would come back.
What was it?
The color would come back.
I think it's made by Pandemic. They're gone now.
The Saboteur.
What was the name? Yes, the Saboteur. Yes, the Saboteur. Immediately when I saw this, I'm like, yo, I'm digging. Like, you see, there's a lot of like black or white around. Like the colors are really muted on the side, but then you got that deep orange hue. You see the reds on the next one. You see the similar type of deal where it's like the big focus is on that big pop of color. Man, I don't know, man. Aesthetically, if this is obviously this is concept art, so this is not the actual look, but the idea behind it with the big vibrant colors and then the highlighted areas, and then your darker, dingier side where you can kind of sneak around. I mean, I'm digging it. And the feel, it looks like it's going to be, an open world type game, which I think they already kind of announced. But you see that city in front of you, and man, the possibilities are like endless. He's on top of the building, which means he has either climbing capabilities or
some sort of like a blink where you kind of he teleports. Which
I mean, I don't know if that's one of his actual powers as Blade, but I definitely see that there's going to be traversal. You're up on the roof.
Well,
so it looks like it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good.
Arkane Lyon is known for that. If you played any of their games, right?
Yes.
Traversal is at the tip of the spear. Yeah, Deathloop is a perfect example of that. Dishonored is even more so. Yeah.
This is just like, it just looks like, because of like the scale of what the city looks like you're going to be seeing, just looks like it's that just blown up, right? Like just to more. Those crosses in the back all the way in the top.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, right? Like in the lighting, like the lights, they kind of. I think it's meant to look like that. What it looks like, and I'm looking at it on the big screen. You're not. it looks like there's lights hanging, and that's the window ledge in the background. But it's it specifically looks like a cross, whether it be upside down or the other way around.
Yep.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, I think it's meant to look like that.
So,
Again, folks. What a way to open up the show. Breaking news. Actual, not leaked, right? Not from a hack or anything. Literally, concept art delivered for the fans by Arkane, Lyon, and some of their staffers. Yeah.
That's really
absolutely.
a lot of dope. And again, now you got the sneaking. So obviously you have stealth involved. You saw the action, and then you saw traversal, right? They showed you all three, kind of give you an idea of what they're working with, right? It's gonna be a big game, man. It's gonna be a big game. I'm excited. And then the question is the art style, right? Are they gonna, obviously we saw it on that trailer. Is that the final art style? Are they gonna go,
I hope
for
that's
like
the art
that
style. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah.
Kind of look.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the big new trend now, right? You got the Spider-Verse, you got that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie that kind of hit around that same art style. I wouldn't be mad at it. I could tell you that much. I saw somebody wrote that there's copy that it looks like is more in the vein of the movie versus the comics, like the movie world versus the comics. I never followed the comics on this, so I don't know. But the movie was badass. So if they hit that vein, man, that'll be a dope ass game for sure.
Yeah, no, it absolutely will. Listen, Jamie, let's bring you in on the conversation. You got a chance to see the artwork for yourself. Again, this is not final, depiction of what it's going to look like personally. And you and I were talking in the green room before Risk It and See Money got in here, and I was telling you that I am hoping for Arkane Lyon to do what we know they have the power and talent to do, and that is tell an amazing story and frame it how they want it to be framed. I don't think they have to follow any paint by numbers because Sony makes Spider-Man games this way. If it looks like that, great. I don't think it needs to, though. I think it needs to be a game that Arkane Lyon is comfortable making, tell the story we know they know how to tell, and let it be the artwork that they want to use. What are your thoughts on the three pieces of artwork that were dropped today?
Yeah, well, first I have to say I agree. The whole concept of we have to think that this Blade game has to emulate what Spider-Man does, I think that's just the wrong way to go about it. We need more originality in video games.
Right.
So when it comes to this, like, we getting a mature Blade game. We haven't had a mature open world superhero game in, I can't remember ever, maybe Prototype. That might have been the last one. And I look at these concept arts, and I'm excited because, like, look, it is just art. However, the tone it gives off, you have Paris, you have the nightclubs. Blade is doing stealth in some of these, and Arkane Lyon is known for stealth. Dishonored's stealth is probably some of the best in all of gaming. Let's be real. And I think that, when it comes to Blade, like, especially if you've seen the films, Blade has access to an assortment of different gadgets to take out vampires, and you can see them on these like belts and like armor pieces and stuff, and that's what gets me excited. Like, the art style may look like this, which is cool. I think the whole Spider-Verse art style is like a thing that's popping off right now. You have Arkane on Netflix and all that stuff. I'm excited, and it gives the impression that I think that people have always said that Microsoft needs a superhero game. I've agreed Microsoft's needed a superhero game. They could have gone safe. I think they could have done a Captain America game, which I think would have been really safe. But I think them going Blade in a mature route, because, again, when you make a mature game, they're making it for less people at the end of the day. And personally, I think, like, I'm excited. It may be years away. It apparently has been in development for 2 years. But just off the concept art alone, especially we're getting concept art this early, like I said before the show started, normally when a game's announced, we have to wait ages, and then we get concept art, and then we have to wait another year or two for trailers. But we got this straight out the gate, and it looks good.
Facts.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, folks, I'm just gonna be going back and forth and scaling through it, so you guys and gals could just take a look at it. And again, I'll throw some gameplay when we get on to the second topic. But Risk It, let's talk about this, because there are a couple of really finite points concerning Blade. Right, it comes out. I think very similar to how the first unveiling of the Series X at the Game Awards, followed by a Senua trailer. I think the announcement of Blade shocked the gaming world, specifically on the PlayStation side, because there is this feeling that it seems to have evoked the community that they're deserving of everything and anything because they're PlayStation. And I totally disagree. I think that they have done some really great things. I think they've put out some really good hardware. But I don't think that because they've done these good things and they have a strong first party like Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us, and more specifically Spider-Man, that they are owed anything. And the fact that this is going to be an Xbox exclusive, the fact that this already has artwork that wasn't leaked or they weren't hacked, they're putting it out there to get people excited. I think that this is just the tip of the spear for what is coming down the pipeline for Marvel, Lucasfilms, and Disney when it comes to Xbox exclusives. But I want to focus on Blade. What are your thoughts on the artwork?
Well, you raised an interesting point about Disney, so I was going to riff off that, but I think we're talking about that a little bit later.
No. Go in any direction you want to go, brother. This is a conversational podcast. Go for it and come back around to Blade, whatever you want to do.
This sort of switched the narrative, right, with Xbox, because for a long time there we were hearing, or you would hear from Phil and from the team that they more want to focus on their own IPs and look after their own IPs, and they weren't going after IPs that were established and all that sort of thing. And then we saw some things leak from the emails where Phil sort of talked about AAA games, game developers and publishers being safe and going after these established IPs. But hey, like as Xbox gamers, we've wanted this hashtag just one shout out to COG, right? So we've wanted this. We have wanted a superhero game. Blade was one of the ones that got brought up a lot. For me, it was Judge Dredd, because that would have been dark as hell. But I wanted a dark, mature, like an Xbox game, man. Like that's what we get, the dark, mature. And look, no shade to Spider-Man 2, but honestly, there was a lot of, there's no other word to say, just crap that was sort of sprinkled throughout that game. Like that this didn't need to be there. The fluff, the PC-ness, and we could just hopefully do away with all that in Blade. Concept art, I've heard some things online, and like, I don't know if you guys know, that's why I've always got a pen in my hand. I'll take notes when you guys are talking or someone says something in the chat. I think it was Sean Labrie said some stuff in the chat as well, but I'll get back to that. But one of the things I've heard is if it looks like a cartoon, that I'm not playing it. I'm like, it's a comic, dude. Like, you're talking about a comic. So if it's a cartoon, if it's a comic, you're not playing it. Like that's what it is. That's where it came from. That's its greatness. That's its source, as just a silly point of view. And then the concept art, some people don't like it. I like it. I'm curious to see how one-to-one it is. I mean, we've seen the trailer, right? So the trailer looked fantastic. Really, really love that trailer. The look of the trailer looked good. And then we see the concept art, and you've got to sort of think it's going to meet somewhere in the middle, right? Because, I mean, this seems, and it's Arkane style. They're very abstract sort of concept with their art. And I was looking at some of their concept art while you guys were talking for Dishonored. And it's pretty one-to-one. So this is going to be good. But like you said, as well, you also talked about the verticality. That's something that Arkane does really, really well. Something else they do really, really well is how you approach the missions. I mean, we've seen this many, many times with lots of different games in the, that you can approach the mission however you want. I could get the feeling based on this concept art, we're going to get a lot of that. I get the feeling that you can go in guns blazing, or, swinging your sword, or you can creep around. Sean Labrie, as I was saying before, was talking about gadgets, because he does use a lot of gadgets in the comics, right? Even in the movies, you see a lot of gadgets that he has. So like that's going to be pretty cool to play around with. It's pretty exciting. This is the type of just one I wanted. I didn't want I wanted a Batman-y kind of dark, kind of gritty, like brutal. Well, I think we're going to get that with Blade. And when you were saying it shocked the PlayStation game, I think it shocked a lot of Xbox gamers as well, because we were just like so set on that Xbox does not do IPs. outside of
Yes.
what they own. We were set
Yeah, that
on
could
that.
die
We didn't
now,
think
I
that was
think.
going to happen. Yeah. Now, one thing I'm going to throw smoke. You probably saw my my video on Twitter. Look, one thing I'm going to throw smoke at is, and I'm going to say it like direct to Bethesda and direct to Xbox. Like I said, like you got to take away the ambiguity. I know it's exclusive. Like I know this game will be exclusive. I
Right.
think Boom, you probably think the same thing. See Money, you're probably there as well. Elusive, I'm not sure, but like this game is 110% going to be exclusive. But what they did when they announced this trailer is they opened up the conversation for out there in the Twitterverse for that discussion to be had because there was no Xbox branding. So a bit of smoke there. And I tend to think that's more on Bethesda, right? But I also think that Xbox gives their studios a lot of freedom. And I think that's a good thing. But in situations where you're leaving ambiguity and you're opening the conversation to be negative out there, sure, you're keeping yourself in the conversation and any press is good press, right? Not always. I really think they should have branded it. I think Bethesda should want to brand Xbox after their trailers, and I think Xbox should enforce that they brand those things, just so we're not having that silly. I mean, I know I'm bringing it up here, but just so we're not having that silly conversation on Twitter where and then we're going to pull up receipts in 2025 or 2027, whatever it is, and make people look silly. I mean, I like doing that, but.
I mean, look, I am going to say this. Indiana Jones, when we saw the trailer for the first time where they kind of panned across the desk and you saw his hat and then the whip and everything, it was a year after that we learned that it was exclusive. As a matter of fact, we didn't wind up learning it was exclusive until it came out in court documents.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
But Indiana Jones wasn't when we saw that trailer, they weren't owned, right? Like when that first trailer came out,
it might have been. I
think
it was right before they were owned, or right after. It was close.
Yeah, because I think it was the summer of 2020 that they showed it, and then the end of 2020 is when they announced that they're buying Bethesda. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I just checked. Indiana Jones was announced early 2021, and we just found out that it was exclusive to Xbox in August. So that was quite a while. I do have a theory though.
I thought we saw the trailer at E3. Didn't we see the trailer at the summer event?
No, they dropped the trailer on Twitter, man. It was a Twitter trailer. As how that thing leaked. They just dropped it on there. Like, oh,
what?
Everyone went ape shit. Yeah, it was on Twitter how they did. I mean, folks, call me out if I'm wrong. I remember it being like they dropped this on Twitter. What? I'm almost positive.
I feel like I'm very crazy right now.
Well, either you're very crazy or I'm even more crazier. One way or another, somebody's crazy. And it could be me. I mean, I could have sworn that it was how it was dropped, folks. By all means, yes. Curry Cosmo says it was on Twitter that they did it, and Shine Films agrees. It says right, boom, it was on Twitter. So, I swear I remember it being like, I'm sorry, what? And that's how it was announced on freaking Twitter, man, which would be bonkers. Yeah. See, Ray always says it was as well. And Volskrieg, Vogelskrieg. What's going on, brother? A long time, man. I hope you're doing well. He says, yes, it was Twitter. So, and Asante, my brother from another, has also confirmed.
I don't know if you remember as well, like when they purchased Bethesda, they were real cagey about talking about exclusivity.
They were. Yeah.
And then we got the famous, on platforms where Game Pass exists speech, right? But like that took a long time to get that. Like it was like months and months after the acquisition before we got that sort of that definite, solid, and I want Xbox to be more what's the word? Not transparent. They're pretty good with their communication, but I just want them to like shut this sort of conversation down.
You might be onto something, Riskit. Look, I'll say this. I don't have a lot of criticism for the current Xbox. I really don't. And it's not because I'm a stan or I make excuses for them, because I call them out on a regular basis. And I will continue to do so, because that is what a real fan does. What I will say is I think what you're asking for, and I think most of the community would like them to be very cutthroat like Sony. And I don't know if that is who they are as a platform. See, like Sony is very cold and they're very precise and they throw it in your face that they have something and they let you know that it's theirs. And I don't really think that Microsoft does that. I'm going to be honest with you. I think you brought up an amazing point. We know, folks, we know that this is exclusive. There are people in the chat right now. Do you know, or do you think you know? No, I'm here to tell you, folks, that I absolutely 1000% know that this is a full-on exclusive game for Xbox, and I'm not even going to tell you how because I don't have to. Wait it out or buy an Xbox because I don't know why. And I'll say this, folks, if you are on the fence on Xbox and I don't get any money from them, they know who the channel is. I've been very fortunate to be invited to things by Xbox, but I'm here to tell you I get nothing on the back end. I don't get controllers. I don't get a knock on the door and here's a refrigerator. I don't get none of that stuff. As much work as I do for the channel. I don't do for Xbox. But I am going to say that if you are holding out and you have not already gotten an Xbox, I don't know what you're waiting for because the roadmap that we're going to talk about, folks, is so deep that it's, like I said in the beginning, it is going to choke out Sony. They're not going to be able to keep up. Think about this, folks.
Right.
Without the name studios that I said I think they could be announcing next year, they have 40 plus studios and 32 of them are named, meaning that there are multiple studios for Infinity Ward and Treyarch and a few of the other ones, especially Blizzard. They have nearly 50 studios, folks, and they are hitting on all cylinders right now. Could you imagine if next year they add 6 more studios and then potentially a publisher? Folks, listen, I'm no mathematician, but look what Sony is doing. They are just not going to be able to compete. And I'm not worried about Nintendo because they have a console coming out next year, and it's going to launch with at least 2 to 3 games. And I think it's going to be a 3D Mario, and I think it's going to be Metroid Prime 4. I don't want to say guarantee because I'm going to look like a boo, but I think that's what they're going to release with. We have no idea what Sony has in the pipeline outside of a couple of timed exclusives with Square Enix, because all of those games are eventually going to come to Xbox, and a few of the exclusives that they have locked up with like Stellar Blade and a few others. After that, first party, it's going to be wash and repeats. Last of Us 2 remasters. And nobody wants that. And Horizon 1 on PC. A little bit too late, Luther. That's all I can say. But I do want to move on to the next topic. And folks, we have 616 people here. I love that number because that's Earth 616. If you're a Marvel fan, you know that is where we are. Oh, Risk it bopped out. He'll pop back in a second. I do want to talk about the most anticipated. Here he is. Bring him back in. Yeah, Risk it. There you go, brother. Now let me see. Let me go into my DMs. First of all, let me stop sharing and let me just bring up some gameplay footage so you folks are not bored watching a still screen. So give me a second. What do I want to bring in? I'll bring in, I'm sorry, folks. I know you may be sick of it, but I'm not. I freaking love Halo and I can't stop playing it. So there's that. Let me stop screen sharing that. And let me go into my DMs because I sent this to myself. And I kind of want to talk about it because I sent it to everyone here. I think I sent it to Jamie as well. Okay, so Colt Eastwood did a Colt does what Colt does. He's a graphics guy, right? Besides doing incredible videos that he does on a daily and a weekly basis on his show on XNC, he put this graphic together of Xbox first party games. So I mean I could bring it up on the screen, but I'll let the footage play. I will just read to you folks what is coming in the pipeline. And mind you, this is still not everything. Okay, this is most of what we know. There is a lot that we don't. So in this graphic that he put out there, and you can go to Colt, you can see that I think it even may be pinned on Twitter to him. He has folks here: Indiana Jones, Perfect Dark, Blade, The Elder Scrolls 6, Clockwork Revolution, Avowed, State of Decay 3, Fable, Forza Motorsport. Well, actually, they meant to put Forza Horizon 6, which we'll get next year, potentially. Senua Saga Hellblade 2, The Outer Worlds 2, Contraband, Everwild, Towerborn, OD, South of Midnight, Project Odyssey, and Fallout 5. And that is just the tip of the spear. I'm going to go to our guest, Risk It. I want to go to you first, brother. This is it. I'm going to be honest. If you can't find half of these games that get you excited, I don't even know why you're even playing video games. This is a list of games that we know, and there are a ton that we don't. And I'm here to tell you that right now, PlayStation is shaking in their boots because they don't even have half of these games in current production right now. Risk It, what are your thoughts? What out of all of these games, what jumps off the page? What is the one game you cannot wait to play?
Oh, Risk is gone again.
Oh, there he is. No, here he is. There he is. Sorry, I had to bring you in there.
There you go.
Apologies, Risk It. You popped out again. I was in another screen. What do you think, man?
No audio.
You have no
We can't hear you,
audio,
brother.
brother.
We can't hear you.
Nope, no audio. We don't
Nada.
hear you. You might have to go into the settings and change it to wherever your
Yeah,
audio.
like,
maybe
Pick up your mic again.
Nope, nothing. Yeah, you know what? Mess with that. We'll come back to you. Let's bring in the elusive gamer, Jamie. That is a stout list of games. And again, I'm no mathematician. That is a stout list of games. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18 games deep. And that's not even everything that we know, Jamie. What's the one game out of the 18 that are listed here by Colt Eastwood that you just cannot wait to play?
Before I tell you which one, I'll tell you 18. It's a big number for exclusives. They
That's
have
not
a lot
everything,
more.
Jamie.
Yeah.
That's not all of them.
Yeah, I have a video coming out soon. They have way more than 18. But the good thing for me is, and a good thing for a lot of people listening, is most of them are single player.
Yes.
Which is the thing that a lot of people have been wanting from Microsoft for a long time. But for me personally, I think I might have to go with Avowed. Because
okay, that's a strong pick.
Obsidian, like Blade years away. I'm obviously looking forward to that. I've been wanting a Blade game for years now, all my life. But Avowed, it's more of a denser RPG. I feel like, when it comes to open world RPGs, we get vast open worlds all the time, but they saying with that one, it's more concentrated. It's a squeezed in Skyrim, so you're not walking miles between quests and that. But honestly, like, it's outside of Avowed, it's hard to pick one because there's just so many good games coming. And you've said earlier in the show that it's going to be hard for Sony to keep up, and people might hear that and think, "Oh, it's a fanboy thing." It's like, not really. Like Sony comes out with one big game every year. It sells pretty well, and that's that. And PlayStation's propped up by that one game, and obviously the money they make off multi-platform titles. But Microsoft's at a point now where they have so many studios, they're going to release a new AAA game basically every quarter, and then throughout the year we're going to get things like ports, remasters, remakes, things like that. So within the next year and a half, Microsoft's going to get to a point where they're releasing maybe 6 to 8 first-party games a year, which is ridiculous.
Super ridiculous. Crazy.
Well, I mean, look, I'm going to pull up the list in front of me, and I'm going to just give you what I think is next year, right? Like, now, again, folks, I'm just throwing it out there. This is not what I heard. This is what I think is next year. See, I think Avowed is going to be allowed to cook, and I don't think it's coming out next year. And I say that, and again, I'm going to do some simple deductions here. Okay, we know for a fact that Clockwork Revolution, Hellblade, and South of Midnight have already been rated. Right? They've been rated by the rating board. And we know for absolute fact by the Australian rating board. Right? you do not rate these games if they're not going to be coming out relatively soon. And I mean soon. It could be 12, it could be like literally 11 months from now comes out. One of them comes out in November of 24. But you also have to take into account where you're starting to see little things. Last week, the fine folks that are bringing us a Clockwork Revolution in Exile did a really amazing, fun video called Wizard Shit. And if you missed it, please go and watch it. I watched it 12 times, and I laughed harder each time I watched it because it's brilliant. But I bring that up is because the start of the video, you hear them clearly say, "Hey, listen, we got to get working on Clockwork Revolution," which should indicate to you, as just simple deduction, that they're going to start the process of getting the word out there. I think we're going to get a developers direct guaranteed for Hellblade. I think that's January. I don't know for sure. Again, it's a shot in the dark. I think at that event, you're going to get something else special on the back end. But I think we're going to have several developer directs because it did work so well for Starfield. You're going to get one for Clockwork. You're going to get one for Hellblade. You're going to get one for South of Midnight. And it's going to be dope. Those are the three. But you also have Towerborn releasing next year. You also have Flight Sim 2024 releasing next year. There's a few other ones that are in there, whether they're big or small. I mean, look, and I know that's not first party, at least not yet. But the team behind Stalker 2, I don't know, man. If I'm Microsoft, based on that last video, you add them to Xbox Game Studios. I'm just saying, if they haven't already. But that's exclusive now, and they've come out and said we have no plans for PlayStation. Is that forever? Well, I hope so, to be honest with you. Because why should Sony get everything? I think they don't deserve nothing, to be honest with you. Do your own thing. Don't ride the coattails of Xbox. And that is what I think 2024 is going to look like. What was that? See money?
So that's what they try to do anyway.
I know.
They're just playing catch up nonstop on everything.
They are who we thought that they were. But Jamie, listen. I mean, so for you, it's out of the 18, Avowed is the one that jumps off the page for you.
I mean, it's really hard now that I think about it. Clockwork is up there. Hellblade.
There's so many, bro.
Yeah, but the good thing is I'll get to play all of them. So and I just hope like you said, Avowed might get delayed, but even if it does, like Clockwork, that's more than likely going to release next year. There's also things like the Fallout remaster, which I think is going to be announced in January. The Fallout 3 remaster, shall I say.
You also have the Oblivion remaster potentially dropping next year. Hello.
Yeah, so like they probably going to have like maybe 6 games next year. And remember, they came out last January with Hi-Fi Rush when nothing leaked. We found out that day with a shadow drop. So, and I don't think they'll do a shadow drop again like in 2024. But the fact is that they can come out and just announce something new without us even knowing about it, which is really cool.
It's dope. No doubt about that. Let's bring in, see if his mic is back. Risk it. Are you back, brother?
I'm back.
Yes, there you are. Okay, awesome. So listen, I have in front of me, and I think you have it in front of you also, because I dropped it in a DM, this incredible graphic by Colt Eastwood, champion of the Xbox culture on the socials, and of course one of the lead voices at XNC each and every week. We have Indiana Jones, we have Perfect Dark, Elder Scrolls 6, Blade, Clockwork, Avowed, State of Decay 3, Fable, Forza Horizon 6, Senua Saga, Outer Worlds 2, Contraband, Everwild, Towerborn, South of Midnight, OD, Fallout 5, and Project Odyssey. I mean, this is a ridiculous list, and these games will all be released in the next 1 to 3 years. And we don't know what else, Infinity Ward is supposedly working on a game with Treyarch that's going to be, inspired by Mass Effect. It's going to be a first-person open-world shooter in space. We have a bunch of other things going on. Obviously, Coalition is obviously Gear 6 is going to be a part of that conversation. You also have a ton of other studios within that Activision Blizzard thing that might have games. I mean, he, in that interview with specifically with Jez Corden last week, he mentioned, he warmed my heart. he said, Banjo-Kazooie, fans, we hear you. I mean, I don't know when that's going to happen, but when it does, this grown man might have some tears because I've been waiting for that game forever. Out of these 18, though,
it's going to disappoint you that I hope that never happens.
Don't say that, man. How dare you? Get out of here.
Why?
You're fired.
What's that studio that made Ukulele?
That is they're all ex-Rare guys.
Yeah, I forget. Platonic.
Yeah. You know what? But you're right. Yeah,
they're the only ones. They're literally the only people in the world who can say, "Hey, Microsoft, I'll make a banjo," and it'll be like, "Okay, dope." Like aside from that, it's
Toys for Bob could do that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I feel like Toys for Bob is gonna want to do something now that they're free, right?
Edgy.
They're owned by Xbox. They're gonna want to do something that's gonna. Not that I'm knocking the dog and the bird, but I feel like they would want to do something that's gonna stand on its own.
Well,
and not be tied to like a legacy that they have to live up to. Whereas the Platonic dudes is like, that is our legacy, so we can make it. You know what I'm saying? Like that would make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it does. But listen, risk it. All jokes aside, like out of that list, for you as someone that has been asking for Xbox to deliver in a big way for first party, what jumps off the page? What is the one game that you cannot wait to play?
Yeah. First thing, is it a bear and a bird, or is it a dog?
It's a bear. It's a bear.
It's a bear. I blanked on the name. I was like, Banjo, what the hell? And I couldn't get Banjo-Kazooie out. I just couldn't say the words. Yeah. So I just started looking at the picture in my head, and I was like, that's a dog. Yeah, pretty close.
Oh my god, that's funny. Well, back in the days, he was so so square. He could have been a dog, right? Because that was the N64 days. I mean, you can make that. You can...
Yeah, look, I hope everyone gets everything that they want out of this out of ABK, to be honest, man, because there's so many studios there that there's enough developers there that every Xbox gamer should be able to get almost every game that they want, like over time, right? Hopefully Banjo-Kazooie's on the back burner and we get StarCraft and all that sort of first. But look, coming to this list, absolutely you can already see exactly what's coming out this year. You're right, I've got it up on screen there. So what's coming out next? You will definitely get Towerborn. We already know that's coming. We already know Senua's Saga's Hellblade's coming, so you know those two are locked in, right? So then you've really only got two to play with. Fable, that's the game I've been waiting for.
Fable. Talk about it, brother. Talk about it.
And see, I was worried about they have that sort of UK toilet humor. Like I love the Aussies in UK. We have very similar humor, and that was like. Very much a love letter to UK humor. It was brilliant. And I was worried that was going to come out of it a bit, right? Because, I mean, it is being made by an American studio. And also we're in a different time, right? So I thought they might dumb it down. But from the looks of that trailer, like it's pretty bang on. And then for them to come out afterwards and say that was definitely gameplay, like sensational. We didn't see a lot. But I'm really hoping that we see that next year. I think that's one definitely that we are going to see next year. So far we've got Towerborn, Senua's Saga, Fable. Man, I don't know about Clockwork Revolution. That was only a sizzle reel, so that was small. We've got Avowed. So I think we're going to see Avowed, Senua's Saga, Towerborn, South of Midnight, and Fable. I think we'll get all of those games next year.
Bro.
That is nuts, man. That is a nuts year. But then you look down the track. I mean, a lot of these guys on these PlayStation podcasts, because I dip in and listen to the craziness, like are talking about how these games, people tag me and stuff to go, oh, he's saying it again, like how far these games are out. Like we have a roadmap. We have a reason to own an Xbox. Like there is a reason to own an Xbox. The only reason you've got to own a PlayStation 5 is Wolverine whenever that comes. And they just dropped a free DLC because they are desperate to keep people. This is the time for Xbox to put the foot on the throat. I've been saying this for
that's what
about
I'm talking about. Months. Yeah,
like and with the branding stuff, like that's why I want them to do it, because I want them to put the foot on the throat with the conversation, and I want them to put the foot on the throat with the games. I want them to do it across the board, and just absolutely. And I don't want PlayStation to go away. at all. But I want
Oh no,
PlayStation.
no, of course, no.
to
Listen, let me
compete.
tell you something, brother. I don't think anyone does. To be honest
No,
with
we
you,
just want to drop them down.
you,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
We just want them on their
Listen, there's
knees.
nothing wrong with body slamming them and putting them in the figure four leg lock and make them submit. There's nothing wrong with that. That's
Figure
that's
four.
WWE at its finest. I think what happens is you saw Microsoft become somewhat desperate because they had fallen so far behind. And this is coming off of an Xbox 360 era that they dominated. Now, granted, I understand that people are like, well, you know, boom, on the back end, Sony passed and because they sold the PlayStation 3 a lot longer. It was a lot longer in production than the Xbox 360 was. And that is why they eventually caught up. That it wasn't because they did some sort of a miracle. They were
Dude, the match
behind
was
the
over.
entire generation.
And they kept playing. You know what I'm saying? Like the game was over, but they kept going. Of course, you're gonna keep adding scores when there's no one there to stop
Right.
it, right? So,
But listen, at the end of the day, nobody wants Sony to go away. We want Sony to be better. And how can Sony be better? Well, they can bring back older IPs that we've all been asking for. You know, you can bring back your Twisted Metals. What's that?
We already saw it at the show. We already saw it with God of War. Like, if no one can tell me that had ABK not gone through, had this slate of games, had this not been going on since 2014, no one can tell me that when they turned up at the Game Awards that God of War Ragnarok DLC would have been free. If Xbox hadn't done what they're doing, that God of War DLC would have been
$30.
Minimum 20 bucks.
Yeah, minimum 20 bucks. Yeah.
Like,
you know what's funny? They're also all ignoring the fact that leading up to it, everybody was talking about how we were going to get a standalone God of War, like a real standalone DLC in 2024. It was supposed to be like a big deal. And what they really just released is a mode that they should have had in the game when it first came out to do this little roguelite kind of mode. Like, come on, this is not the next part of God of War. You know what I'm saying? This is not like the next evolution of it. It's a mode that is literally should have just been in there. So the fact that it's free just kind of makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it any other way.
No, it makes perfect sense. Well, listen, real quick, let's bring you back in here, C Money. Again, that list has 18 games, named titles, except for one. That's a lot of games. But there's more. There are more, like I said, there are more games on the back end where, you know, there's going to be potentially a Gear 6, obviously. The Gears collection or the Marcus Phoenix collection, that's going to come out at some point. And what's crazy is, could you imagine if that is a shadow drop next year in the same vein as Hi-Fi Rush? You know, we know that they're going to do something else with that particular IP. We know that Ghostwire Tokyo has a sequel is coming. That's confirmed. Evil Within 3 is probably being worked on. It's safe to say that it is. Dude, it is just one banger after another. And that's what I say. Like I said, people are going to get mad at me in the chat. Like, oh, you know, boom, you're dumping on Sony. No, I'm not. Sony needs to get dunked on, folks.
Yes.
Because they have sat in their chair and they have become the fat king that has done nothing for its people except rest on its laurels. And the fact of the matter is, yes, Spider-Man 2 is really good, and I'm having a blast with it, but it is very much Spider-Man. And the God of War DLC, Brisket is right. That would have been minimum $20 if Microsoft wouldn't have been putting the foot on the throat, which they're doing right now. Sony cannot compete. And that is why they got rid of Ryan. They got rid of all the people over there. They are directionless. They are leaderless, and they are in trouble, folks. And you know what? We're not here to talk about Sony. We're here to talk about how great Xbox is doing. So, C Money, I posed a question to you, kind sir. Of the 18 games there, what jumps off the page for you?
All of them? Is that a valid answer?
I mean, it is a valid.
I feel like I don't.
There's no right or wrong answer here, sir.
Like, this is the thing. I can go down this list, and I'm so excited for them to come out. I guess if I had to, like, gun to head say, yo, it has to be. If I'm going by this list, right, and not what's just coming soon, I would have to say Elder Scrolls 6 because, I mean,
A strong
Elder
pick.
Scrolls is Elder Scrolls, bro. Like
choice.
Skyrim. But that's if I'm talking about just looking at the entire list and that's it. If I'm talking about what's coming soon, I mean, Hellblade is like
That
everything,
Hellblade trailer that everyone was like, "Oh, we're waiting."
everything.
I was one of them. I said, "I want to see combat." So,
Dude, not only did they show it, they gave it in the best way possible. Listen, they said it right at the beginning that they weren't doing any superhero bullshit in this game. It was going to be the only thing that's going to happen in this game is what the actress is capable of doing herself. So when you see her swing the sword, she doesn't swing the sword like she's some super, sword ninja, right? Who knows everything about holding a sword proper. She's fighting for her life, right? You just hear it when you hear the sound and you see the movement and the expression on the face, and you just see her put her everything into blocking and everything into just trying to kill this thing. It's fucking amazing. It really is. It's so amazing.
yeah.
That just blows
it's
my
a
mind.
graphical showpiece. Like I don't think we've ever seen
No,
anything
not even
like,
close, man.
this
No,
graphically.
this is I think it's safe to say, gentlemen, that obviously our good brother Cognito, Lord Cognito, one of the lead voices of the Iron Lord podcast. He's been saying for years, #just1. And I think that, I mean, obviously everyone's #just1 might be a little bit different, but I think that this specifically, Hellblade 2, is the graphical showpiece that we have all been asking and waiting for them to deliver. That Sony level-esque goodness that we have been asking for. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of people in the chat here. Like, yeah, but I don't dig Sony games. I don't like that. And if you don't, I hear you. I'm not going to argue with you. If you
There's
don't
17
like
other games on the list.
but but see, money. That's a fantastic point, dude. If you take a minute to look at that list and just ponder on it, there are different genres of different types and sizes and graphical prowess on just about every one of them. They're not samey, and that's the thing about Sony's games. I mean, listen, I have a PS5 because I like that kind of presentation. I like that over-the-shoulder, story-driven, realistic-looking type of graphics. But I also appreciate something like a Hi-Fi Rush or a Ghostwire Tokyo or a Halo Infinite. And I think that is really, quote unquote, the spice of life with Xbox. Is every one of those games, see money? Yes, they're all part of a platform, but they all offer something different for everyone. And I think that is huge, dude.
You know what's crazy when you think about what's going to happen? Because this comment that was just made about that literally sums up the future of what Xbox is going to have to deal with. This is going to be the new thing, right? Where it's going to be every quarter they're coming out with a game, right? Banger. But that quarter, it's not the game that particular person likes. So instead of being like, oh man, these last 2 quarters have been amazing, and yeah, that game is not for me per se, but there's people who maybe didn't care for the last game that I really loved, and now they're getting the game that they really love. Like, those people are not going to say that. They're going to go online and they're going to say, oh my God, I don't like this game. And they're going to bitch and moan.
Yeah,
and the new argument is going to be like, we're going to have to treat them like how here in America, we have all this food to eat. And, I put this food in front of you and you're complaining about it. And then we got to be like, but like, look at the kids in Africa who can't eat food. It's like, look at those guys in PlayStation who don't get any games, right? They just be happy that you're getting a bunch of games. You know what I'm saying? And then that's going to be the trade-off here, where PlayStation is going to be the new, we got to point to them to remind you, like, listen, there's enough food here to eat. But if you're not satisfied with this, you could be like them, okay? Getting 1 meal a year, right? Do you want that?
No, you do not. At
No.
least I don't,
So
anyway.
So let's not start a new thing that's going to be there where people are going at Phil. Oh my God, they're releasing this game that I don't care for. It's like, bro, there's plenty of other games. Just
Yeah. I'm going to say this though. I think that we and I'm going to get to the super chats and the channel member chats in a second. I do want to, this show is usually around like a $1.15, $1.20, and we have a big panel today, so we'll probably go about that, maybe even a pinch more. But I do have one other Xbox topic I want to talk about, and then of course we'll get Risky to get his final, get his thoughts, because obviously he got cut off with his camera. I think that we are potentially on our way, I should say, as Xbox gamers, and as a platform, that the media is literally going to be pigeonholed into, well, if we keep talking bad, no matter how good they do, we're going to look like D's, right? That's what they're going to keep looking like. And I am starting to listen. Change does not happen overnight. But like for instance, Kotaku, of all freaking places. And I'm not going to take back anything I said about Kotaku. They are the Inquirer of journalism, meaning that they would print President bangs alien and here's the kid. That's the kind of journalism that they do over at. That's what I think of Kotaku.
I just love where that came from. That was such a beautiful idea right there.
I mean, well, when you're waiting for your groceries and you see the president and have an alien next to him, and there's a kid in the middle, and that's the alien, the president alien kid. That's what Kotaku is. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna take that back. They're a rag mag, bro. That's what they are. But they wrote a story that something about Phil Spencer in a positive light. Shocking. Kotaku write a story positive about Phil Spencer. He has 23 days of Xbox games being played. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was 23 weeks of playtime. They ran that story. I didn't run it. And it's a positive story, because why wouldn't it be? The CEO, the head of Microsoft Gaming, puts my playtime, who I'm retired, he's running an entire corporation. I should hang my head in shame. I should be ashamed of myself as a gamer.
He probably plays more than that because you don't see the games he plays that don't clock any time, right?
Exactly, dude. It is probably that. I'm actually going to pull up the story right now, just so I make sure I get it right. But the truth of the matter is that the press is going to be in a position where, I mean, look, we talked about it last night on Prime Time. I don't really want to bring it up and make it a major conversation, because I already gave IGN the smoke that they deserve. But they bent the knee because of us, because of you. You went out there and you told IGN, how dare you run this bullshit, pardon my French, BS story about how to cancel your Xbox Game Pass subscription, when that is literally what's allowing many people who are financially strapped, especially during the holidays, to be a part of the gaming conversation. Like, what's the point of that? I mean, even the official Game Pass Twitter account sent emoji like this, like, what's the deal, right? And you know what those cowards did? The IGN cowards, they went and were forced, and we pressed them, and they wrote a story about how to cancel your PlayStation Plus, and they even gave a reason. All because, the $40, it went up and they didn't do anything. So cowards.
You know what I found funny about that is that, like, it's actually it's not hard to cancel your Xbox your Game Pass subscription.
No, I know it is not.
But the PlayStation Plus, like, subscription, that is difficult to cancel, because I've canceled it, and it took me like a good 30 minutes to figure out how to cancel this damn thing. And then I saw that article. I didn't put anything on Twitter. I've been flat out for that one. But I was like, man, why are they writing an article about something that you can do in a minute that you can't do it? PlayStation, it's 30 minutes. They send you through hoops after hoop after hoop. Yep. Try to get you to stay. They ask you if you're sure, I think about 3 times. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And then they're writing a story about how to cancel Game Pass. Like, that is just absolute.
Oh, okay.
I love it. I love it. I got to get one of those, man. I got to get one of those buttons so I could curse and block it out. So I don't have to just force myself. Listen,
have everybody
Real
have
quick,
one because I need
yeah,
it big time.
I wish, you know, it's funny. If anyone from StreamYard's listening, I wish that you add that. That would be kind. I mean, I pay $50 a month.
StreamYard needs like a lot of stuff.
They need to do some stuff. Yeah,
They need-
I
there's a
pay
lot
the
of
premium.
places.
I pay $50
Yeah,
a month
me-
because I
me
want the
too.
1080p streaming, and
Yep.
I think it's worth it because they're consistently upgrading. But having one of those, like you can like click on a button and every time someone curses, it just beeps it out. That would be kind of dope.
Like a soundboard on there should be there.
I actually, you know, it's funny.
you-
I have an
you wait-
Elgato and it's not even hooked up. I should be ashamed of myself.
Dude,
You
I have
wait
the
till-
same thing.
you
It's
wait
just sitting
till
there unused.
Xbox Infinite will go live, and there'll just be buttons getting pressed all over the place. Like it's gonna be.
I love it. That's good stuff. Listen, let me catch up on the super chats, and then we're going to get to the final topic of the show. First of all, we have nearly 700 people here, which is dope, folks. If you saw, I put the SOS out. We are 181 subs away from 14K, and to be honest with you, I normally don't ask for much. Would really like to celebrate Christmas, not only because it's the holiday that is my favorite holiday of the entire year. It would be pretty dope to close out a year where we just got our stats from YouTube, and I'm actually very surprised. We have for 2023 1.4 million views for the channel, which is
Nice.
bonkers, right? That's bonkers for the mom and pop or type of situation that we have going on. And it would be the cherry on top of the banana boat Sunday if we can hit 14K before the end of the year. We're 181 away, folks. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Share this out. Let other people know about it. I do this Monday through Friday, and you guys and gals know that again, we don't sell you hate. We don't sell you clickbaitery to get you to sub or like the channel. We just have fun, and we have I think important conversations when it comes to gaming. But the first generosity of the day comes the way of, once again, Highlander 001, who has dropped once again 5 double barrel gaming memberships. Brother, that is just so unbelievably kind of you. Thank you for the generosity. Our good friend Jay Slay drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, boom, do you think Microsoft's partnership that Sarah Bond was leading has anything to do with Sega losing their minds? Great show. What's up, Risket? And by the way, I've been seeing it, the Hooded Canuck. Folks, if you thought Sega was done coming back from the dead, well, they're not, because they just filed a trademark, and shout out to everyone that mentioned it. Rise from your grave. And I'm getting goosebumps, folks. You know what I'm talking about. Altered effing Beast. And listen.
Oh, how good would that be, man? Like, look, I'm sorry. The Sega thing was out of control. I was like, get out of town. Like, that was.
No, you know
cool.
what? I haven't had a chance to really kind of sink our teeth into it. We'll close out the show with the Sega talk, because we got to talk some Sega.
Yeah.
We got to talk some Sega, because first
Old
of all,
man, come on.
see,
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I saw, first of all, that had 5 games in one trailer. And I'm a Sega kid. Like, I'm a Sega stan. I'm a Sega apologist. I got 3 Dreamcasts. I got 1 Japanese, 2 American. I got 86 plus games in storage. Some of them are even sealed. I am a diehard. My favorite console of all time, Dreamcast, hands down.
Yep. I'm a Sega boy.
This return from Sega is exactly what the industry needed, and I think Microsoft should buy them. But that is a story for another conversation.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
It's gonna happen. But let's see. Jonas the Dad drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Blade is the vamp boogeyman, stealth and death. Indeed he is. And our good friend Fly Guy GBG drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, Blade will be exclusive, but Xbox is just being careful. I think so. Highlander 001, who's been a channel member for 18 months, says, afternoon boom and panel. Blade has to be more bloody and violent than Wolverine and God of War. Blade must make the ponies cry. The salt must flow. I mean, it is going to be gory. They've already said it. They said it's going to be visceral, but it's also going to be stylized. I don't know if it's going to be on the level of God of War realism when it comes to like pieces flying all over the place, and we don't know. Wolverine looks like that's what it's going to be because we saw some unfortunate leaked screenshots from the hack at Insomniac, which is just awful. And that game looks dope. I'm not going to front. I mean, Wolverine looks so freaking good.
Were they all leaked, or was it just the one in that thing, and then the other
There's
ones?
a couple of them. I don't think it was all.
Like,
I think it was just a
some
couple.
of them were like made, like somebody made them in UE5.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think so. There's a leaked one, and then there was like 3 images that had like a lot more that you saw, and those.
I think I saw a total of 3. I saw, but it was all in the same like town area. I saw one from the back, one from the left, and one from the right side. That's all I saw, and I didn't go looking for it. People were putting it on social media.
Yep.
I feel bad for Insomniac, not so much for the leaked stuff, even though that sucks. I feel bad for the actual people that actually might have had their personal information stolen and put out there. That's not cool, folks. That's some scary stuff right there. Simon Brandy drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, Xbox tax strikes again. Metro UK celebrating Xbox console sales down 27% in Europe. Look at the headline, Boom. Anyone who denies Xbox tax are blind. Yeah, but and that's the thing. So I insulted heavily Kotaku, which they deserve. And when I'm now going to insult Metro UK, see, here's the thing. At least Kotaku is kind of like on a magazine rack, like in the grocery store when you're going to go buy your milk and bread and you look over and you see the president bangs alien. That's Kotaku, right? Unfortunately, and I shouldn't even say fortunately, Metro UK, folks, if you know what I'm talking about, you've been to New York, you've been downtown London, they have like these boxes, these plastic boxes that you can go in and take these free papers that most people use to like put for the kitty litter. That is Metro UK. That's what they're worth. They don't even have a price. You can't, at least the Kotaku rag mag you can buy at the supermarket. Metro you can't buy, it's free. And that's what you get. That's what that's the worth of it.
Do you want to know what's funny about that though? So they may, this is something I'm going to talk about on Infinite coming up on the weekend,
Friday.
But they may be down on console sales, but they are up on monthly active users for the year by about the tune of about 30 million.
30 million, yeah, 120 to 150 million. Yeah, that's. I'm going to be in the chat to kind of stoke that fire. You should talk about that because that is big.
Yeah,
and that's not fake numbers.
They've dropped from 112 monthly active users down to 107 during the release of Spider-Man 2.
Well, there you go, folks. Live on the air. Tune in to the Xbox Infinite podcast with the amazing crew with Risk for the Biscuit, Infinite Umbra, Jedi Peter, and Doom Cutie's no longer there. You have a new podcaster with you.
Yeah, we got that blue number.
Okay. Yes, I didn't know the name. Okay, awesome stuff. We'll get to that towards the end, brother. We want to sell your brand as we do here. Meek Gamer drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, I guess laughing my what off. Y'all sound crazy sitting in third. I mean, Meek, first of all, brother, thank you for the generous $2 super chat. And yes, Xbox is in third place right now. But I'm here to tell you that Sony is in first place temporarily. And all you have to do is just look at what we're talking about. What does Sony have outside of Wolverine? Do you know?
Can I speak on this? So Xbox is third. They are. However, PlayStation players don't benefit at all from this. In fact, Xbox gamers are benefiting from this because Xbox has to try their damn hardest to get consoles sold, to get Game Pass subscriptions up. So we are getting more games than ever. Yeah, they might be third. They might be after Nintendo and PlayStation, but do we really care? We are getting a Blade game now. We're getting at least 18 exclusives over the next few years, at least. And most games still haven't been announced. And if Microsoft wasn't first, do you know what would happen? They would be back to where they were at the 360 generation, where they were putting out maybe one game a year, and they rested on the laurels. They got overconfident, and look what Sony did. This happens every few generations. The PlayStation 2 was absolutely massive. Sony got cocky with the PlayStation 3. The 360 rose up, became number one. In the end, the PlayStation 3 did sell more. However, the Xbox 360 was sold in less territories.
Yep.
So, and the PlayStation 3 was sold longer. So, yeah, PlayStation is first. But when it comes to roadmaps, for the first time ever, Xbox actually has one. And I've been talking about this on my channel for months now. Xbox, the whole wait till E3 thing was a meme because it was how Microsoft went about announcing games. They waited till E3 every single year to announce all their games for the following year, and every single game would release between the August and November, and they'd announce it as a holiday lineup, and that's how they'd sell consoles. However, since Game Pass is a thing now, they can't do that. They need subscriptions to be rolling out every single month, so they can't have all their games released at the end of the year. They have to have new games release every few months.
Yeah.
So when you look at PlayStation, they don't have a roadmap. They have Helldivers 2 and Wolverine. Wolverine doesn't have a release date at all, or a release window. PlayStation, and look, I think PlayStation's going to be fine in the end. I really do. But
Of course they are.
at the end of
Well,
the day,
Xbox is fine at third place, right? So
yeah,
PlayStation will be more than fine at third place.
but when it comes to PlayStation, there isn't anything to look forward to. Like I'm an Xbox guy, but I tune into PlayStation podcasts just to see what the vibe is, see what they're talking about, and they're all saying the exact same thing. Hey, Grand Theft Auto 6 marketing deal, PlayStation 5 Pro, Wolverine this, Wolverine that. They don't know what to talk about because there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
So they're talking about these. Yeah, they're talking about these things that don't even matter. Like, does a marketing deal with GTA 6 matter to the player? No. Why are they hyping up a PlayStation 5 Pro when developers should be getting used to the hardware we have now? You know, this isn't last generation where the 4K TVs were like kicking off in sales in 2016. So Microsoft and Sony were hurrying to get 4K consoles out. This is now. It's not the same situation. The whole mid-gen console refresh doesn't make sense, in my opinion, this time around. But that's all they're talking about. So yeah, Microsoft is third, but I'm getting a crap ton of games because of it. So they can be third for as long as they want. I don't care. I'm getting more games because of it.
And what benefit does the company being in first? This is what I love about these guys. He paid money to say that, so thanks for supporting the show, champion. Really appreciate that, dude. And then the other thing is, what benefit do you get out of that company being first? You get nothing. You don't make dividends. You don't have stock in that company. You probably get a lie and say you do, but you don't. Like, why is that a thing? Like, that doesn't bother me in the least. And exactly like Elusive is saying, like, we benefit because Microsoft has to work hard for every dollar they get, whereas PlayStation thinks it doesn't. And that's why you weren't getting free DLCs. That's why you weren't getting like free upgrades. That's why your games were $70. That's why they raised the price of your PlayStation 5. That's why they sold you a VR headset with no games at a premium price for as much as the console. Like that's not a good thing. I don't understand these guys who are so inept when it comes to business, consumerism, and those sorts of practices. And they think it's a good thing with nothing to back it up. It's like, oh, first place. It's the dumbest. And we're going to find that damn thing again. It is the dumbest. You're an. Right?
I love it.
No, but it's like the thing is not only do they not realize that, but they also don't realize that Microsoft is backing Xbox, right? Xbox is a Microsoft property. So being in third place doesn't mean the same when your wallet is as big as you ever could need it to be, right? Now, if PlayStation, on the other hand, after Xbox comes and does what it's doing, which is going to steamroll it with all of these games on a nonstop basis, and PlayStation slowly falls down from their high horse and they get down to where Xbox is and the roles start to reverse. See, PlayStation doesn't have the dollars to dig themselves out of there. You understand? PlayStation can't say, all right, you know what? We're going to fight back now. We're going to get so many new first-party studios. We're going to make so many AAA games. Bro, they can barely afford to make the AAA games they make now.
Yeah.
My man, you're looking at the wrong game being played here. Xbox is showing you its hands. The dollars are out, my man. They weren't out before. You were first place when Xbox's pockets were small. But now Daddy Phil and Daddy Satya have come to play, my man. And they got the money to make what they want happen. It's like somebody who like lives in a studio apartment, but like he has a poppin' YouTube channel, right? He has like 10,000 subscribers. He's so excited, right? And like this dude who lives in a mansion and has like Ferraris in the driveway started a YouTube channel and it ain't popping off. It's like, listen, I understand that you might be excited that you got more subs than that dude over there, but that dude's life is a whole different situation. That's where we are. Our gaming lives is a whole different situation than y'all gaming life. We get games into our subscription service El Gratis, and we're getting them on a consistent basis. And we're not talking about shovelware. We're talking about high quality AAA games. Games that after each one of these studios releases their particular game that they're making, it has the potential to make that studio look like one of the best studios that has walked the planet at this point. They're all working on their big games that are going to make a statement for that studio. We're not talking about, well, I can tell you right now, PlayStation roadmap, Ghost of Tsushima 2 at some point. What other game did they come out with that they'll get a part 2 of? God of War, they'll make another one. Dude, PlayStation is so afraid to make games that they are nonstop relying on these sequels and remasters and remakes. That's it. They're afraid because they cannot fail. They don't have the money to fail. And unless you got Apple or Amazon who is going to scoop these people up, if you can't see with your eyes that they're on a decline, you're in a big problem. Jim Ryan, the leader of the pack, put it loud and clear. If this deal goes through, we're fucked. Screwed. Whoop.
Yeah,
take that back.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Listen,
right?
We're
like
yeah, listen. You are 1,000% right. And you know something? He did his damnedest. Didn't he do his damnedest to try and get this deal blocked? You know where he is now?
Man. He made himself look like a fool, embarrassed himself forever.
You made a really good point. Can I just jump in and just back that up?
Listen, this is a conversational. Go crazy. Yeah.
You said there is like an absolute something that people I think skip over. So Microsoft can take risks with their games. So what we want is innovation and different types of games, diversity of games that aren't always going to sell well, but fit well into a subscription service. They're not always going to be for you, but there's going to be a lot more of them because what they need is content. So you're going to get a lot more of these smaller games. You're going to get your bigger games. You're going to get your just one games. You're going to get your RPGs. You're going to get your racing games. You're going to get absolutely everything out of this because they need to cover the gamut and they can take risks while they do it. I mean, Toys for Bob could come off and go, I want to make this really crazy little weird game. We want to make a Pentiment. We want to make it grounded. Like they can take risks. These risks don't always pay off, but when they do, they can change the industry. So this is why Microsoft and Xbox are a really exciting company and why you should be pushing and backing this sort of a thing. It's not the death of the industry. It's actually a pivot of the industry into something that's taking us into the future. Like it astounds me when people just don't look deep enough into this and doom and gloom.
I say it all the time on our show, and this is the reality. And as much as people don't want to see it or they want to ignore it, it's fine. But it's just what it is. Xbox is the savior of creativity in the AAA space. They are the only ones who can allow big games to take risk. They're the only ones. That's it. Let them cook and do what they want to do. Whereas, again, Sony cannot prolong these things that far. It's going to cost them too much, and they're going to have to stop. And that's why these games, listen, I don't care what you feel about Spider-Man. Is it a good game? Yes. Is it the game that we would have got if Xbox was the one bankrolling that game? No. We would have got a proper next-gen Spider-Man for the next-gen console. What we got was the PlayStation 4 game copy-pasted into the new place on PlayStation 5, added two side, towns or cities, right? Two little boroughs on the side, and up upped the resolution and added ray tracing. This was not a ground up PlayStation 5 game. It just wasn't. It doesn't look it. Same thing with Ragnarok. I don't care what anybody says, bro. You can't tell me that you look at Ragnarok and feel like, yo, what an evolution of God of War. No, it looks slightly worse, in my opinion, in some aspects than the 2018 God of War. And it's not
animation weren't as good.
No, it is not as good. It's not. It wasn't nearly as exciting. The people capping for the story, I can appreciate you that you feel that way. But let's call a spade a spade. 2018 God of War, that was an interesting, unique, exciting story. This was not it, dude. It wasn't. And I have PlayStation 5s. You see it in every single one of my streams. Is behind my wife in the video. It's right there. I got the VR headset. I spend more money on PlayStation than most of these fake PlayStation fans probably do. But I looked at I got my the wrap up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, I thought I played more. I played like 78 hours of PlayStation all year.
I probably got half that, which is just a shame.
It's crazy. And that's only because we replayed Last of Us Part 1 because we were doing a when the show was airing. So we were doing a tit for tat. So every episode we would stream the game. So it's like that's the only reason the numbers are even that high. And it's not because I'm like, I spent this money and I'm doing it to talk trash. No, I don't buy something because I want to be able to prove a point. No, I bought it because I was hoping that freaking God of War Ragnarok was going to be worth having the PlayStation 5 for. It wasn't. I was hoping that Spider-Man 2 was going to be this big next gen. Oh, man, PlayStation, this is what they do, right? They push the tech, right? PlayStation 4, that's what they did. They Last of Us at the end, Last of Us 2, come on, man, stunning. You have nothing comparative to the best of PlayStation on PlayStation 5, meaning there's nothing that took that leap that makes it look like, oh man, this is what PlayStation 5 can do. Come on, man. On your biggest games, when we're going to get another God of War, right? When we're going to get another Spider-Man, you're talking years away. You blew your load. These were the ones to impress us with, and you didn't.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, the closest thing that I think that we have is, I mean, obviously, Kojima's working on Death Stranding 2. For a fact there's going to be, I was going to say Animusha, but I wish. There's going to be a Ghost of Tsushima 2, obviously, which is going to be dope.
But are they going to push it, or are they going to take that same game and then just add to it like they've done with God of War and they've done with Spider-Man?
It's an interesting theory, and it's a great question. Listen, real quick, gentlemen, let me catch up on these super chats, and then, of course, I'm going to ask the question. It'll be a quick conversation of what of the Sega trailer jumped off the page for you. But Gamer by Choice drops a $2 super chat and says Xbox should MK Sony finish them fatality. Just kidding. I think they're gonna. I think that's gonna happen. I think you're gonna see Nintendo be where Nintendo is, and I think you're gonna see the roles reverse. I think you're gonna see Microsoft go to first, and I think you're gonna see Sony go to third. I really do.
If it's about games, it will. If it's just random hatred and saying, oh, I'm not going to do it because I won't buy an Xbox or I won't be involved, then that's a whole different ballgame. But if you're a gamer and you want to play games, if you could only own one console, come on, man. The answer is
it's true. It's true. Dreadful Sean says, in my opinion, Kotaku is a better rag mag than IGN. At least Kotaku slanders both sides. IGN just slanders Xbox. I mean, there might be some truth to that. Highlander 001 drops an additional very generous $5 super chat and says, if all of the remakes of all those Sega games go to Game Pass, it will make the ponies cry. I can see Microsoft writing a big check to Sega if they haven't already. And something.
Cry. Can you imagine just waking up and they're like, hey, all those games day one Game Pass?
Well, I mean,
oh my God,
to be fair, everyone had asked me a question. He goes, they're remaking all these games. Where did they get that money from? Papa Phil probably dropped a big old check. Because remember, they announced that partnership with the Super Games, and these are Super Games. So, I mean, there's that. And they should go into Game Pass day and date, because if Microsoft is paying for it, then they absolutely should. Let's see. Calorie drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Wolverine leaks are fake. They came from a fan-made trailer by Teaser Play on YouTube from a year ago. I don't know if that's true. I mean, we know for a fact that they were ransomware.
That's what I'm saying. There was
actually,
one that was like the square, and you could see like two images that kind of looked,
yeah, some of them
iffy.
might be fake.
And then
I only saw
and then
the
the
one.
other three looked like they were much more like complete. Those are the ones that made it look like God of War. And people are saying that that's somebody who made that in Unreal Engine.
Yeah. So listen, if it is, it's again,
I mean, we don't know.
My concern is for the people, not for the game. The fact that their real life information got out there, that's just not cool. El Monte drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Are we in third place? Never count PC." I mean, that's true. Hargeet Chani brings up a great conversational piece. He says this after being a channel member for 15 months. Brother, thank you for the generosity. Xbox is in third in console sales, but with ABK will likely have the most revenue of a platform holder as well as the most profit along with the most monthly active users, or MAUs as they're known. Highlander drops an additional
Sounds like first place to me.
$5 super chat. Yeah, it does, absolutely. He says BAFTA Game Awards nominations came out. Microsoft has 7 games up for a total of 19 awards. Folks, podcasters around the world, unite. We're going to be talking about this very soon. And you know what? There was a super chat. Did I miss one? Hold on a sec. Let me see. Hold on. Somebody had asked something about the hire of the former PlayStation executive. We're going to talk about that specific story tomorrow on Breakfast with Boom, and of course, we're going to talk about the BAFTA awards. Microsoft has, thanks to Highlander 001, has seven games up for awards, 19 awards. They've been 7 games, 19 awards. Yeah, that sounds about right. Maxi Coleman drops a very generous.
We need to know.
Maxi Coleman just a $5 super chat and says, if Xbox did Spider-Man, we would get a cartoonish, probably first-person game. Come on, hashtag just one. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, Blade, it's. I mean, a lot of people don't like the artwork. I do. Listen. I say let Arkane Lyon make the game that they want to make. I think if you want to play Spider-Man, go play Spider-Man on your PlayStation 5. I like what Xbox is doing. I don't think Xbox needs to copy and paste. They have games. Fable is lifelike graphics, right? Clockwork Revolution is going to have lifelike graphics. We've seen
Hellblade.
What it looks. Hellblade is there. That's the one. I don't know. I mean, Maxi, I appreciate the generosity, and maybe you're onto something, but
I think he was referencing when I said about if Xbox did it, but what I didn't say if Xbox made it. I said if Xbox was the one bankrolling it, and those are very two different things. I was saying that if Sony had Xbox's money, they would have made a better Spider-Man than what we got.
I mean, it's possible for sure. Listen, real quick, let's quickly, because we're 90 minutes in. I don't want to hold anybody up. I'll go to you first, C-Money. Out of the Sega trailer that dominated the conversation at the Game Awards, and now we're learning that in Eternal Champions has been filed. We learned that Rise from Your Grave has been trademarked. We learned that Panzer Dragoon has been as one of the games that the super games. Which is the one that's your favorite? Which out of what we've seen and what you think is going to be released?
So when it was just the first portion of it, I mean all the games looked dope, but when they first said it, I was so like, oh my god, Crazy Taxi's coming back. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fire. But once they sold the stuff that's gotten rated or that got talked about after, Ultra Beast, man, come on, Rise from Your Grave. That they gotta. Oh, I'm excited to see what they do with that. That is gonna be sick. Very, very dope. Everything they showed us was fire though. Jet Set, come on, man. That shit looked like I was back there just with high-end graphics. It looked amazing. Oh man, what's the last one that they showed that looked like?
They showed Shinobi. They showed Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi. They showed Golden Axe, which looked amazing.
That looked crazy. I mean, honestly, this is the thing that's so dope. I love the fact that Sega's finally doing this, where they're looking and they're saying, okay, we have all of these amazing IPs. What can we do with them today? What is that going to look like today?
Mm-hmm.
Alter Beast was dope as a side scroller. I'm wondering, do we go behind the camera? Let's
dude, you saw it. Out. It did not look like a side scroll. It looked like an open world kind of a thing.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it's Sega's back, crazy, and they could be owned by Xbox. I'm just saying, it could be owned by Xbox. We'll see.
It should be owned by Xbox.
Risk it for the biscuit. What jumped off the page for you?
Oh man, yeah, Alter Beast. That is like that's one of the classics. I mean, they're all classics, right? But Alter Beast, I put a lot of time into. But if you imagine an Altered Beast, right, with open world, right? So just think of it as open world behind the camera, but then also think more into it, right? What you can do with like all that you change into different beasts as you go, right? Do different things. So then you can, so your upgrades could be beasts, right? So each different beast is an upgrade, but you could also make that world into a Metroidvania type world, right? It's sort of like you saw with God of War and these other games that where you get new abilities that open up verticality, or it opens up, you know, like being able to go underground, or like, man, there is so much you could do with an Altered Beast open world, man. I'm super hyped for that. I only saw that one just before the show. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. And there was rumblings that they were doing something with Altered Beast. Golden Axe. Listen, here's the thing with say, I'm super hyped for everything I saw. Jet Set Radio looks to be the one that's the farthest along with Crazy Taxi. So I'm pretty interested to see Jet Set Radio, because that's going to be pretty cool. The other ones, they looked amazing, but I want to know who's making them. Like, what studio's making them? How far in development are they? Golden Axe looked crazy, because that's another one that, like, how good was that game back in the day? You'd ride on your little thing, you have your axe like swinging around. You'd always want to be the dude, the Viking dude. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else wanted to be the girl, but I was always the Viking dude. Sort of suited me, right? So, like, I mean, it looked good. That I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little concerned. I'm not concerned. I'm gonna just hold the hype a little bit for Golden Axe, because I'm not sure. It looked amazing, but I was like, I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll see what they do. But Jet Set looked like it was pretty much on its way.
Crazy Taxi looks so good with police chases now. What?
That's gonna be sick, bro.
Imagine if it was like Uber. I think someone said this to me before. Imagine if it was like Uber versus Taxi Wars. That would be cool. But Altered Beast, man, like an open world Altered Beast, Metroidvania, where you upgrade as a beast. Like that to me would be fantastic. I look forward to seeing like something that they bring out, that maybe they have a Sega Direct, or Xbox comes out with a, hey, Altered Beast Game Pass day one, something like that.
Yeah, dude, I think there's a connection here. I really do. I don't know what that connection is. I am going to say Hargeet Chani drops an additional $2 super chat and says the BAFTAs have awarded 9 nominations to Hogwarts Legacy. That is what I am talking about. That game would be, I know the Black Harry Potter. I know you're listening. I know you're creeping. That would have been my game of the year if it wasn't for Starfield. I'm playing it right now. I'm about to beat it. I finally got to the end of it. It's an amazing game. And it deserves those 9 noms. That game is magical, and I don't mean that like in a pun.
And there's the proof that there's like, it's not an Xbox tax. There's the proof that there's.
Well, these journalists are cowards. The journalists, not everyone. Let's be fair. You know, you have really great journalists. You know, you have Tom Warren.
They move as a herd. They're moving as a herd, right? And it's not like they're colluding in the background together, but they're like. You sort of see how they react. They saw that Destin thing. I'm going off on a skew, and I'll be really, really quick. But we saw that Destin thing where, like, he was like, "Yeah, it is losing players," and Destin's like, "It's a single player game, dude." Yeah. And before that, they were asking, "Is Xbox going to show something?" And like, if you look at the history of like last year, you think Xbox is not going to turn up this time. Like, are you nuts? But that's how if that's how they're talking on camera. You have to understand that it's probably worse behind closed doors, right?
Oh, I would imagine.
You don't want to be out of that cool group, right? Like, so you don't probably speak out. And then, I mean, Destin, I will say again, Destin probably doesn't see it because they probably don't, because they know he's an Xbox guy.
He saw it
probably
there.
They probably don't. Yeah, I mean, that's why I messaged him on Twitter and said, get it now. But like, but he probably is a bit sheltered from that sort of stuff. They probably don't push him or challenge him on that. He is a senior editor at IGN. So, you know, you probably wouldn't want to get involved in the console war stuff with him because he would, one, destroy you, and two, probably not good for your job, right? But so I can understand how he's not seeing it. But like, if that's how they're behaving on camera, like what's going on in the background? And then you get stuff like, well, I'm not voting for Hogwarts, or I'm not voting. Like, that's crazy, man. Like, I didn't think Hogwarts was the game of the year for me, but it definitely, most definitely, you cannot tell me it didn't deserve an art direction, a best score, like some nomination. Literally no nominations. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. That's just absolute.
Oh, by the way, while we were, talking and hearing the beeping, I literally ordered a new Elgato in white to match my PC. So there you go. So now I'm gonna have a go F yourself button because I had an older one and I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, it's time to upgrade. You know what? I'll just I'll get a new one. I wound up catching it on sale. It was 20% off at Amazon. So there you go.
Nice.
Real quick, Sir X-Man drops a $2 super chat and says Sega needs to get Afterburner back and remake After. What? Could you? I'm going to say one right here, folks, because I remember opening the Dreamcast, the Sega Saturn, and popping in Daytona, USA.
Wow,
and
my
here,
mind was right there.
I still listen to that soundtrack when I'm working out. Like the Rolling Stars. I mean, come on. Come on. Who doesn't want that? I'm here to tell you, folks, that I think as excited as I am for the return of Xbox, and we know what they have coming to the table with what we talked about in the second topic, I think even more potentially, I'll say equally or potentially even more exciting is the fact that Sega is coming back in a big way, but they've already partnered with Microsoft. And I think that is a really big deal. Because if you remember during the 360 era, even during the OG Xbox era, Sega and Xbox were tight. A lot of games came out for those two consoles, and I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see this is happening. Elusive Gamer, which Sega franchise that was shown in the in that 5 game trailer at the Game Awards, or more specifically, like what you've heard we're talking about, Altered Beast having the Rise from Your Grave trademark. You have Eternal Champions, that trademark was remade, it was redone. We hear Panzer Dragoon. Which one is the one that you're most excited for?
Well, I tell you what, they really need to trademark Afterburner again, because that would be incredible. I think out of everything that was shown, honestly, I'm excited for them. But Crazy Taxi looks incredible.
Yeah,
the fact that there's going to be police, so it looks like there may be like a PvP element to it. If not, it's still cool.
Awesome. I love it.
It could be really cool what they could do with it now. You have Jet Set Radio. And look, ever since Sunset Overdrive came out, people's been saying like we need a new Jet Set Radio. And in the AAA space, like we don't get much risk anymore, and everything has to be like drab, sad dad, depressing, has to be like emotional and stuff. It's like the essence of video games can be fun sometimes, and everything that was shown there, it's fun. Like Golden Axe, like granted the frame rate looked a bit iffy, but it looked amazing in my opinion, and I can't wait for that. But just the fact we're getting a new Crazy Taxi, if they can somehow get the Offspring license, like game of the year, I'm excited for all of it. I think it's cool to see Sega's back because, like Capcom 10 years ago, like people were thinking they were going to go under. They had very few big projects in the works, and after like the Monster Hunter game and Resident Evil 7, like they came back and they're huge now. Sega, I think, have been in this weird spot where they kind of lost their identity a bit. The Sonic games haven't done that well traditionally. Yakuza's popping off now. Persona's popping off even more now. Persona and Yakuza are both multi-platform franchises, and like I've never seen this much hype for a Sega game since that announcement, like ever. And it was Crazy Taxi. These 90s style, early 2000 style games. And I think people want more of that because we don't have that in the AAA space. Like the closest thing we have to that is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk on the Xbox store, and it's an indie game. So like, it's cool that we're having like a big developer bring back these types of games.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's it's one of those things that we've been waiting for. I think as gamers, for Sega to make a big comeback. I think there is a lot riding on this, folks. And you know what? Like I said, tomorrow we're going to talk about the importance of the former PlayStation chief for Japan being hired by Xbox. She is already going around speaking to publishers and developers saying, "Yeah, you gotta get on Xbox." And I think that's incredibly important because obviously, if you follow the trades, notoriously Microsoft and specifically Xbox has failed terribly in Japan, and in the Asian region. That those things are going to change in a big way. And I'm going to tell you this right now, folks. If what I think is actually happening and Sega is coming back in a big way, like we think that they are, and they are in tow or partnered with Microsoft, it's going to be a much different second half of this generation going into the next one. And every one of these games could potentially be dropped into Xbox Game Pass. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, even if they're not, they are day and date purchases by me. No questions asked, unless I'm gonna throw something out there, gentlemen. Chew on this. Take this to your podcasts and have this conversation. What if, with the funding of Sega by Microsoft, they are potentially making their own Game Pass Sega channel that they're going to put out there on the for PlayStation and for Nintendo and for Xbox. And maybe Xbox is in line to get that being a part of your Xbox Game Pass subscription. I'm just saying there are so many games coming out. It seems, and again, this is complete speculation, but it does make sense. What if they're making their own Sega channel? I think there might be something there, folks. I'm telling you, keep digging. You might find some gold, because that sounds more logical when you consider how many games they are currently making. Could you imagine a Sega channel? What? Sign me up. I don't care how much it costs. Well,
I mean, it could be. It could be. You start thinking about it. I mean, that's a lot of games to just kind of like how staggered are you going to make these releases, right? Like
I want them all right now. Like I don't want to wait. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like if you got the Sega channel, you could release them all. Boom, drop them all. They're done. Here you go.
They can charge me whatever they want. I don't even care. Give me a Sega channel with these. First of all, we only knew the 5 games, and in the last couple of days, more leaks and more leaks and more leaks. And you got IP that we haven't heard since the Genesis. And yeah, man, I'm here for it. Every one of those games looked dope. I thought as great as Senua was, and as great as the Hellblade announcement was, and the Blade announcement, I think for me, tip of the spear for the Game Awards was seeing Sega come back on the stage. And again, they didn't give you just one game; they gave you 5 games in one trailer. Sega's back, baby, and I'm here for it. But listen, that's going to do it for today's show. Again, a little bit longer because we had so many guests, but I thank you for hanging out with us. Again, if you're finding the channel for the first time, we are now, I'll tell you exactly, actually had it right here, folks. Let me just do a quick check on how many subs we are away from 14K, because like I said, it may not mean a lot to you, but it does mean a lot to us. We are currently 178 subscribers away from 14,000. So I ask that if you are finding the channel for the first time and you kind of want to help us get past that next goal for us, we truly appreciate it, because we do this Monday through Friday and we have a lot of fun doing it. Let's get to the outros. We'll start first with our guests. Risk it for the biscuit. Brother, sell the brand of the Xbox Infinite podcast that you do each and every Friday evening with Infinite Umbra, Jedi Peter, as well as your new co-host. Talk about it, man. Where could they check that out each and every week? And more importantly, where can they follow you on social media for some of your pointed opinions?
And are you on camera yet?
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, we're planning on making some big changes to the show. So we go live at 7 p.m. at the moment, EST. If you're in Australia, that's 11 a.m. if you're in the East, and 8 a.m. if you're in the West, because I know there's a couple of Aussies in the chat. And you can find that channel there. I just linked it in the chat. Head over there, check us out. Yeah, we have a good laugh. We got some stuff to talk about, and yeah, we're making some big changes. We're gonna go. We're looking at camera. We're working on that. Nearly there. And there'll be some other big changes as well, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe next week, maybe the week after. But you can find me on Twitter under riskit4tb. Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. It's a good conversation. It's always good to chat with you guys. So I appreciate you guys having me on. It's getting late here, though. I tell you what, 3 a.m.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
I'm so sorry, brother. That is crazy. Listen, thank you so much for being here, Risky. Definitely appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. Jamie Moran, as also known as AKA the Elusive Gamer, one of the biggest Mass Effect fans in the world. I'm sure that Matthew McConaughey game that he's a part of, really, you were like, yes, I want that now, because that game looked dope. I don't even know the name of it, but I will definitely play that.
Exodus.
Yeah, Exodus. There you go. Thank you, brother, for the save. So the brand, brother, where could people check out your weekly show, your YouTube channel, and subscribe? And more importantly, check you out on social media.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, man. It's always good talking to everyone. And yes, I'm extremely hyped for Exodus. If a game remotely resembles Mass Effect, I'm there day one. I don't need any more gameplay. But yeah, when it comes to my channel, it's pure the Xbox. It's the Elusive Gamer. We have a podcast on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's all things Xbox podcast. We just stick to everything, in the gaming sphere when it comes to Xbox. And on the channel itself, outside of the podcast, I do top lists every month, talk about upcoming games for Xbox. Basically a one-stop shop kind of Xbox quote-unquote content. But yeah, I have a lot of cool things planned for 2024. Going to start doing on-camera content. I'm on building a set right now, which is it takes a while apparently, but exciting things planned.
Well, we're looking forward to it, brother. You're a cornerstone of the community. You've been here for years. You've been an Xbox fan. You don't sell hate like any of us here. We don't sell the hate, folks. We have fun. We give slander, sure. We poke fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there, again, we're not into the whole beat on you because you like this particular platform. We have conversations. And something? One of the things I like about everybody on this panel is that when Xbox makes a mistake, we give them the business rightfully deserved, because at the core of the conversation is we're fans, but we're also consumers. And as consumers, you want the best for your dollar. See money. Sell the brand of your incredible channel, led by the fact that you podcast with your family. The missus is in the chat, so thank you so much for Doodle for being here. You also podcast with your son and daughter. Talk about your incredible podcast. But something, one of the, I think, tips of the spear, if you will, is the thing that they do for the end of the month, the community block party, folks. It is phenomenal. It is packed to the gill with the who's who of podcasting. Brother, tell people where they can check that out, and more importantly, follow you on social media.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Love being on the show. Awesome to finally do a podcast with you, Jamie. So that was super dope. And Risky, it was good. I haven't really chatted with you too much since we did our show. So it was cool having you back around. It's dope. But yeah, so on Twitter, you can go ahead and follow me at CMoneyForever. Or X, as they say. But as far as our channel is concerned, we have a channel called On Point for Gamers. I dropped the link in the chat there. Yeah, we do 4 shows a week. Monday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, we have Morning Quest with Doodle and C Money, which is just my wife Doodle and myself, and we talk gaming, have a great time with the chat. It's a beautiful way to start the week. It's a fun show. On Tuesdays, we do have our guest show. It's called Her, Him, and the Guest. And this past week was a phenomenal week. It was a dope ass dude. You guys know him, loves to TTS all the time. It's Sean from the Xbox TTS podcast. My man was there. It was a dope show. We had a
Sean's a
had
good
great
dude,
one.
man. That guy's funny
Yeah,
as all H.
Yeah, Sean's dope. Sean's really dope. The week before that, we had Randall Thornton IT, which was super dope.
Nice.
Brisket was on not too long ago. So we have definitely go check it out. We had some really good shows. Next week we do have Web Dave.
Oh,
Gonna be taking the
nice,
hot
dude.
seat.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's gonna be dope. That's Tuesday. So that's gonna be fun. And then we have our gaming podcast, On Point, the gaming podcast. It's on Wednesdays. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So we're gonna have some fun there. And then on Fridays we end off with On Point Anime and Beyond, where we talk anime, TV, movies, things like that. But the end of the month is the cool one, because the last Wednesday of the month we have our end of the month gaming block party, where, just like Boom said, we have a bunch of people come through, a bunch of people, content creators and stuff. We just have a good time, end the month off with a bang, have a bunch of people come by, and it's a fun time. We also have another big show that we do, which is on the second Wednesday of the month. So second Wednesday of the month, last Wednesday of the month. Second Wednesday of the month is our huge community blowout podcast, which we just did yesterday, which was phenomenal. We had a lot of awesome members of the community come on and hang out with us. It was really, really dope. If you missed it, go check it out. But yeah, guys, we do appreciate you coming through, checking us out. We are on the cusp of hitting 11.5. I think we're like 50 or 55 subs away. So if you can come through, say hi, subscribe. It'll be fun. We appreciate you guys. And that's it, man.
Good
Thanks,
stuff,
guys.
man. Good stuff as always. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you to all of the super chats. In fact, we have one more from our very good friend Bunty. He says, Wagwan! Everyone, I was looking at my Xbox year in review, and I am 5% off of everything. I played too much Xbox this year. Where do the panel, when it comes to the achievements, games are played, etc.? I'm a 300 and something thousand. My gamer score is 332, I think it is, something like that.
Damn.
This year I just, for me, I wish I could play more. It's just that I run the household while Mrs. Boom is working. I try to do the shows 5 days a week, and I also got to sneak some gaming in there. So I next year I'm going to try and double down on some games. But I've been playing the hell out of a Halo. I got 18 days in Halo Infinite, and I'm not afraid to say that I'm enjoying it.
That's what.
Let me see. Well, let me make sure that that's it. Yeah, that is it. Oh, we have Crazy G 14, who's been a channel member for 4 months. Brother, thank you for the generosity. He says Far Cry 6 dropping today on Xbox Game Pass, and Modern Warfare 3 is free to play this weekend. What a weekend to come. Also, yeah, FYI, Modern Warfare 3, if you didn't buy it, and it's 35% off right now on Xbox. So if you waited, you can catch a massive sale on that. And Far Cry 6 is dope AF. I didn't beat that game. I'm close to the end. That game was amazing. But a big thank you to all the super chats, the channel memberships. Definitely appreciate them. And of course, a big thank you to all the panel hanging out here with us for nearly 2 hours. And I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.